Welcome back to the Comedy Crypt. This is the 5th episode with Mr. Stinson. He is the senior project teacher, or at least one of them, which is the one that I have. He's staff at Shepaug, and he's pretty cool. So let's just jump right into it with the first question. What are the responsibilities of a senior project teacher?
For a senior project teacher, it's a little bit different than like maybe a math teacher or a science teacher, because you have 10, 12, 13 kids in a class, and they're each doing their own senior project. So you kind of have to, you're almost like a shepherd as you're trying to corral them and get their ideas fleshed out, talk about what they want to do, and there's milestones along the way that everybody does, but everybody's project is different. So sometimes for some projects, I've been watching talk shows in preparation to be a guest on yours, or I've been learning about chickens or family history and looking at trees, or anything across the board. One year for senior project, I was here every morning for a week at 4 a.m. standing on one of the lifts in the library helping to install a glass chandelier. So it really changes depending on the kid and depending on the project.
That's pretty interesting. So you're basically like a mom, right?
Yeah.
Trying to keep track of all the interests of your kids, walking in, hey Billy, what are you playing?
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy. Sometimes I think of us sort of like firefighters, trying to put out little fires everywhere we go and spend most of our days doing that, but mom works.
Okay. Well, that wraps up the first question of this episode of the Comedy Crypt, which brings us to our first segment, Favorite Blank. I ask him what his favorite blank is, and he answers. Maybe you can as well at home. Anyways, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
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 I say we think alike.
Yeah.
What's your favorite animal?
Dog.
Dog? Classic dog guy?
Yeah, I've got Ollie the Wonder Dog at home.
Mine's the ostrich.
You like to bury your head in the sand instead of facing your troubles?
No, I like to kick a lion and kill it instantly.
Okay, that works for me too.
What's your favorite activity?
Baseball is up there. Soccer is up there. Reading is up there. I really like to read a lot. I don't get as much time to read as I'd like to. And teaching senior projects is probably my all-time favorite.
Well, yeah, probably. That would help. Anyways, what's your favorite band?
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel. That's a person.
Yeah, but he has a band with him, and I've seen him in concert like 10 times.
Yeah, but all right, fine. Mine's Queen.
Okay. I like Queen too.
What's your favorite day of the week?
Sundays.
Sundays?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's weird.
Well, I'm a minister's kid, so Sundays were always different in my house.
Oh.
And it's nice because my kids sleep in on Sundays at home, and I like to get up early, so I have a couple hours quiet time to do stuff I want to do without having to be dad.
Oh.
It's nice.
The worst job. Dad. Who is your favorite historical monarch?
Wow, all right. Historical monarch. You want somebody from Europe, or do you want somebody like ancient times that was like a monarch?
Who's your favorite monarch?
I'll go with Henry VIII.
I'm more of a King Charles guy.
Yeah, which one?
Like the third one.
The third one?
What's your favorite brand of cereal?
Shredded wheat.
Shredded wheat.
With the frosting, though.
With
Not
frosting.
you need to have a little bit of sugar.
And a little bit of sugar.
No, that's why I like the frosted shredded wheat kind, not just the
no
plain.
sugar. What's your favorite time zone?
I'm going to say Eastern time zone because that's the only time zone I've ever been in. I've never left this time zone, so I don't have anything else to compare it to.
East Coast, Beast Coast, let's go.
Works for me.
What's your favorite astronomical phenomenon?
Like shooting stars, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stuff that happens in space.
Yeah, supernovas.
Supernovas?
Yeah. Although my senior project kids might say black hole.
Wow.
Just because everything gets sucked in and everybody gets destroyed.
You know what a Kugelblitz is?
No, what's that?
It's a black hole, except instead of a dense concentration of mass, it's a dense concentration of energy.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like the black hole better, though.
Okay. Anyways, that wraps up our first segment of this week's The Comedy Crypt, which brings us, as always, to our second question. What are your tips for passing senior project?
The first thing that every senior should do is make a decision very early on that they're not going to look for the easy way out. Because every senior project I've ever been involved with where the kids try to pick a project that's easy, try to find the easy way out, scuffle along the way and have a hard time. Second tip would be to pick something that you're passionate about. And it's not necessarily have to be really a heavy academic focus that you might want to go into when your high school career is done, but it's something that you enjoy doing, because if you enjoy doing it, working on your senior project all year doesn't feel like a chore. You know, if you pick something because you think it's whatever, you get to this time of the year like, I'm so done, I don't want to work on it. I mean, like you with your talk shows, you're so passionate about this that it's something that you like to do that you don't feel miserable at this point of the year.
Yep. So,
See, I was
here are
being nice to
my
you.
3 tips for passing senior project. 1, do something that you actually want to do, because my brother, he planted flowers all around the school when it was under construction, so he didn't really have a good time. My second tip, do stuff before it's due.
I would agree with that.
Because, like, if you do, like, your milestone 3, if you just take a day to just hate yourself, get really stressed, and just do it all, then you won't have to do it for, like, the next 7 days, which is a win in my book. But some people like to spread it out, but those people are weird. And my third tip is, I don't know, just have fun.
Yeah, I think those,
Make it a whole party.
I think those tips are good. I think one of the hardest things that I think seniors have with senior project is the calendar due date that they get at the beginning of the year, because it's really their first experience to what a syllabus looks like in terms of due dates and having to plan all that out. So if you take some time and look it over and try to get it done ahead of time, it alleviates a lot of the stress. So I would agree with you.
And then you can use that extra time to work on stuff later down the line.
That's true
Creates
too.
a good feedback loop. Anyways, that wraps up our second question on this week's The Comedy Crypt, which brings us to our second segment. Which number is bigger? What?
You know my feelings on math, Kyle.
No, this isn't math. This is
It's math.
This is super math.
I struggle in
Without the
general
math part.
But I mean, super math might be
Anyways, which number is bigger? I give him 2 Googleisms, which are essentially incomprehensibly large numbers, and he has to figure out which one is bigger, usually by guesswork. So, our first contenders, Google Deciplex versus Guppy Nonaplex.
tough. I'm going to go with a Google Deciplex, because
You got it.
Deciplex sounds like it's bigger than Nonaplex.
Well, there's a different prefix on the Nonaplex.
Right, but Deca isn't Deca like 10?
What? Dog, I don't know what these numbers are.
Oh, dude, you're the one asking me. That's why I'm just going with it.
They just sound cool. Anyways, it is a Google Deciplex.
Yeah, it's all right. Can we stop now?
No. Great Grand Gull versus Great Moser.
Great Grandgull?
Yeah.
That's what I called my great grandma. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go with the Moser one.
Great Moser?
Yeah.
You got it. Yes. You have an ear for the large. Next is Google. No, not Google. Boogle Triplex versus Superior Gorcal.
I'm going to go with the Superior Gorcal because it just
You
sounds
got
cooler.
it. You're 3 for 3
All right,
right
dude,
now.
we got to stop. If I'm
No,
3 for 3. We just
no.
got to end it
We
here.
got 3 more.
3 more? No, because that means I can wind up only 500. I don't like that.
Anyways, Octobodom versus Ginor Goldachime. Ginor Goldachime.
Octa is like 8. But Ginor could be really
Using
big.
logic is not going to help you here.
I'm going to go with the Octa one.
You got it. You're 4 for 4. Unprecedented.
Telling you.
Next is Ultron versus God Quartacothal.
Wait,
Sorry, I said that wrong. You need to know how it actually sounds to get it right. Ultron versus God Thal.
Well, Ultron was the bad guy in one of the Avenger movies who destroyed a whole city, and in the comics tries to destroy all of humanity. So I'm going with Ultron, even though it's probably wrong.
I'm sorry. You got it wrong. It was God.
I think you just made Ultron.
It was no, I didn't. You could look it up. It's God Thal. I can't even say that.
I couldn't even say it, which is the other reason I went with Ultron.
Oh boy. The next one is God Gold Gala Carta Tetherthroth versus Tetherthroth by God Octal.
Do you sit at home and just practice saying these words to kind of see what they mean?
No.
All right, I'm going to go with the second one because it had more syllables.
Well, it didn't, but you're right.
Yeah, it did? The second one had more syllables?
What? God Gala Carta Tetherthroth has less syllables than Tetherthroth by God Octal?
Well, I don't know. It just sounded like it had more. But I got it right. That's all that matters.
Well, Mr. Stinson got 5 out of 6 correct. How many did you get correct?
You need to tell Flair that I got
Flair.
5 out of 6 right. On math questions. She'll be stunned.
Well, that wraps up our second segment on the Comedy Crypt, which brings us to our third question. Why is senior project important?
Senior project is important for life. And I'm not going to get all philosophical and stuff on you, but it's important because not what you do as your senior project, that really is sort of there. It's the skills that you need to master to successfully complete your senior project that you can take with you when you leave this place. And whether you're in a college, at a job, in the Army, whatever it may be, those skills are going to help you figure out stuff. Because when you get out there in the real world, I hate that expression, but when you're out there, the boss is going to come to you and say, I need this. And then it's your job to figure out how you create whatever it is that they need. And so the skills in senior project, timeline, time management, deadlines, research, investigation, creative problem solving, effective communication, are all the ones that you then apply to be successful. And seniors don't always get that and see that, but, and I've told your class this a couple times, we always get emails from kids when they're off at school thanking us for making them go through senior project as a senior. But you guys are in the middle of it, so you don't really see the forest for the trees right now. So, and I think we've been so far ahead of the curve here at this school with senior project. The state of Connecticut is now mandating senior project type experiences across the board for kids to graduate, but we still do it better than most.
All right. Why are they waiting until senior year to start this?
Because I think it's developmentally appropriate. I'm not quite sure if most freshmen, have the ability to really work on a year-long project in an independent manner and come up with something productive and good. I think one of the things we should do as a staff is get kids talking about senior project earlier to kind of start thinking about what they want to do as seniors. That's part of the TOMA's senior project. We've got them interviewing some freshmen on what they think senior project is, and then going to do sophomores and juniors and see if their perception of it changes as they talk to you guys as well.
Yeah. I think freshmen are just there.
Yeah, a lot of them are. But think about you as a freshman. Do you think you could have put something as good as the Comedy Crypt together?
No.
Exactly. That's why we wait.
Why? Well, why don't they do quarter-long projects?
Could you have done something this good in 1 quarter? No.
Well, they could lower the standards since it's a quarter.
Oh, so we should lower the standards just to make it more time efficient? That's stupid.
To bring them into senior project.
No, but why lower the standards? We should be raising the standards. In my opinion, I think you guys should talk for an hour in your final presentation, not 45 minutes.
Wait, for the freshmen.
Oh, you're talking freshmen?
Hypothetical thing that I was discussing.
I thought you were talking for the seniors.
No.
Oh, so for freshmen, like do mini ones?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be a great way to ease them in.
Yeah, maybe do one a year.
Make the stakes not as high though.
Maybe do different parts of a senior project, freshman year, sophomore year, junior year.
Yeah.
So by the time you hit senior year, you kind of have your feet wet.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I'll bring it up at the next faculty meeting.
Take that.
I'll give you credit.
Take that, freshman. Ha. Well, anyways, that wraps up our third question on the Comedy Crypt, which brings us to our third and final segment. $1 million idea. I know you guys love this one. So, what is your $1 million idea, Mr. Stinson?
All right, so I've thought long and hard about this since you asked me this 20 minutes ago and told me that it was being replaced with this question. But
you're not supposed to tell me.
I'm sorry. All right, so here's my $1 million idea. I think we need to bring a version of Uber Eats to the high school cafeteria. That line that people wait in for hot lunch is just so ridiculously long. I think you guys should be able to place your hot lunch order, the period before lunch, and then at your table, since you all sit at the same table anyway, food gets delivered. And maybe it costs $4 instead of $3, but that dollar is well spent because you're not standing in line for half the lunch period waiting to get your hot food. What do you think?
Pretty good.
My other $1 million idea I got in trouble with when I was a kid, though, Kyle.
Oh.
I just learned how to read, right? And my name is Jim. And as a little kid, I was Jimmy. To my family, I am still Jimmy. We were at a McDonald's, and I was learning to read, and there was a big canister filled with what looked like a lot of money on the counter, coins and dollar bills and stuff like that. And it said the Jimmy Fund on it. And I reached up and tried to take it because it had my name on it, and I figured it was for me. They don't take kindly to you trying to steal from charity, even if you're like 4.
I mean, you're like...
So I like my Uber Eats for the cafeteria better, don't you?
Well, it's pretty good. It seems a bit difficult to pull off, though.
Why? Technology, we should be able to make it work. The kids here were all cheering on that one. They were all like, that's a good idea.
You think the school has money?
They'll make money. They'll make an extra $1 at lunch period for a little bit of delivery.
They got to put in money to make it happen, and they're not going to do that.
I don't know. I think it could be a really cool idea.
You hear the construction outside. That's like $18 billion.
And you know what? You know who could deliver it?
Who?
All the seniors that need community service hours.
That'd be pretty good, actually.
So then you don't have to pay them. It's getting better and better, dude.
Yeah, it's like it's developing.
Yeah.
Maybe like you place in the order for hot lunch, and then after a little bit, you just walk in there and grab it.
Yeah, but that still would be the line waiting to get through. That's why I'm saying if you go and sit at your table, since you all sit at the same table anyway,
yeah,
it hardly ever changes, so you know where people are.
Well, I guess they'd have to number the tables, have them in the same exact spot every day.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least put a little number on it.
You all know each other, so if it says, oh, it's Tucker's food, you know who to bring it to, right?
So a lot of people are mean, though.
Well, then that would become an issue for them not to get their community service hours.
All right, well. Would that really make $1 million, though?
If I copyright it and then send it to other schools around the United States, yeah, why not?
No, here's the better idea. Patent it, and then wait for someone else to make it, and then sue them. That's the best way.
That sounds like the American dream, Kyle.
That
sounds like the American dream.
That's not scummy at all. Anyways, that wraps up our third and final segment on this week's The Comedy Crypt, which brings us to our final question. Click your seatbelts, everyone, because we're going to go straight in. What is the best part about Senior Project?
Watching the kids succeed.
I would get the opposite idea from how you conduct the class.
Well, think about it, right? You guys struggle at times, and those in my Senior Project class know that I like to put Darth Vader up on a lot of the things that we do. Sign-up sheets, we have the Darth Vader at the top of the desk. And I tell you, I have no soul, right? But every true Star Wars fan knows that Darth Vader was good, situations made him bad, and his love for his children and his desire to see his children do good ultimately bring him back from the dark side in Return of the Jedi, where he saves his son and gets rid of the Emperor.
Then he dies.
That's sort of me in Senior Project. I want to see you do good in the beginning. You all make me crazy, and I lose my soul for most of the year. And then by the time final presentations come around, we start to see you succeed. And there is honestly no better feeling, and I think you can ask every single teacher who's ever been a Senior Project teacher, than watching you guys soar in final presentation.
To me, you're more like the Emperor. You just don't do anything.
Wow.
Half the time, I'm like, okay, this is kind of stupid, and then you just sit back, it's like, you don't have to do it.
Well, you don't have to
pass,
do it.
But you don't
get
have
so
to.
mad. This is a conversation Kyle and I have daily. You don't have to do it. You have that choice. And I'm there to help for whatever needs, but I'm not going to do it for you. That's the other part of senior project. You have to figure it out.
Well, I'm not telling you to do it. I'm saying that I don't agree with this.
With what, senior project?
No, not senior project as a whole. Like, let's say the after-school meeting, for example.
What after school meeting?
The one that
the
got...
faculty meeting, the one that got canceled?
Yeah.
Again, you didn't have to do that. There was an alternative assignment that makes you absolutely crazy.
That is harder and practically designed to get you to do the former.
Right. Because the former meant that you had to talk about your senior project to adults other than myself, which is a skill you're going to need for your final presentation in June.
Couldn't they have just had the advisors conduct that during an advisory period?
And who would watch the underclassmen?
The underclassmen?
Yeah, if all the advisors are dealing with you guys, who would watch the underclassmen?
Oh, okay, each advisor, they do questions for their class.
So the 3 teachers who have senior advisories would be responsible for asking all the seniors questions?
Yes.
How many advisories do you want to spend getting that done versus having 50 teachers asking 2 or 3 questions to each kid, to 2 or 3 kids total?
I just don't want to do it.
You're not going to have to. Mother Nature took care of that for you.
Yeah. Praise be to her.
All right. And I think you would have done fine.
I would have done fine. I wouldn't be happy about it.
No, you don't have to be happy. Nobody said you have to be happy. It's
What a
not
great-
all lollipops and rainbows. in
What a
Senior
great
Project,
learning
but you do
environment
to
we have
do
here.
Stuff.
We've got a great learning environment at Shepaug where the teachers really care about your feelings.
You know, Kyle, I disagree with that statement tremendously.
Oh, so you're saying that it's a terrible learning environment here?
No, your sarcasm. I think we do care, and I think you're designed just to try to make me crazy right now, and I'm just going to pretend that you're not.
Well, I don't understand what he's talking about. Anyways, that wraps up our show. But before we go, we have a commercial announcement. If it is the 28th, Big Fish will be coming to Shepaug theaters sometime soon. It's a great Shepaug dramatics, features many talented actors and creators, especially stage crew, don't forget them. It's going to be April 5th is the opening night. I can't even put into words how good it's going to be. So please show up. It would mean a lot to the actors, a lot to the theater crew, and a lot to the stage crew. And remember, there's always a bigger fish.